the opportunities to come up with your own idea, to find a need, to build a product, to get someone to build it for you, to have it shipped to Amazon or your own warehouse and to start selling that and making money. We're turning people into millionaires. People around the world through Just One Dime are becoming millionaires. It's unbelievable. It blows my mind. I'm so privileged and I cannot wait to share this with you guys. You in a good mood? Oops. Hey guys, this is Seth. Keeping it real. Hope you are crushing it out there. Today we're going to finish what we started last week, the top 17 mistakes sellers make when working with suppliers. We're going to finish off with the remaining 9. Did I do my math right? I have to tell you guys this really quick. My video production manager just said earlier, make mistakes, because she likes it when I make mistakes so she can make fun of me during the video and the editing and the weird things that come up. So if you see a random phrase that says I want to raise, that's from her, I promise. And she knows I won't fire her because she's kind of badass. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well. We're going to go right now into mistake number 8. Assuming that because a supplier calls themselves a factory, shows you pictures of their factory, might even have certification as a factory, means, well, they must be a factory. Hey, did you notice that you can build a website and put whatever you want on it? Like you could say, I'm actually a walking banana, and that's who I am and what I am. I promise I am. Look at the pictures. So think about that. Just because they have a website that claims that does not mean that's who they are. You can literally go to a website, copy all the code, reproduce it, change the name, boom, and you look like a professional website. I think I just gave the potential hackers a little bit of ammo there. That may not be a good idea. Just because they claim to be a factory does not mean they are. The only reason they're saying that is not necessarily to cheat you or scam you, but because they know, and often Western mind thinking, that if someone isn't a factory, well, I must be getting screwed over because they're gonna charge me. Well, let me tell you something. Oftentimes, a trading company can give you a better price than a factory. Not always, but sometimes, because they have a great relationship with the factory. Number one, and you say, hey guys, I need to make hats. Whoa. Hey, where are you from? What are you doing? Hello? What's going on? Sorry guys, this is a major distraction. This is one cute little kitty. Anyways, I need you guys to make hats for me. Okay, no problem. And so you call them up, it's a trading company. Yes, we are the factory. That's what they'll say. They're probably not. Could you give me 500? What's the best price you can get me for a really cool fedora hat? And they say, okay, sure, no problem, we'll make this for you. And so they go and they contact 5 different factories and they find the one with the best price. Oh, and by the way, this is a cubicle, huge building. There's like 50 different cubicles and these people sitting here and they represent multiple factories. They got this phone and they're calling all their favorite factories to get you the best deal they can. It's like a broker or a distributor or a middleman. It doesn't mean they're not legit. And here's how they can get you a better price. Maybe from the last production, there's 200 of these left over sitting on the side. Hey, by the way, Maria, I can get you those hats. In fact, I can get you 200 at this cost. Why? Because it's left over from the last production. They don't have to go make it. You see, and they have that kind of relationship where the factory will give them that kind of inside information. They'll say, the trading company will say to the factory, look, I know you guys can't produce 500 of these for the price that, you know, Bobby McGee is asking for. Understandable. What if you have 200 left over? Can we do that? What they do? Well, they just sent me a picture. Oh, cool, we can go with the thinner, cheaper material. They just sent a picture. They didn't tell us what material they want. That's why it's so important you tell them the exact specifications you want. The less you ask for, the more broad variety potential your product's going to have. If you don't actually give them the correct color, you just send them a picture, well, guess what? Pictures through the internet are not the same as what you see in real life. So it might be darker than you expected, because you didn't give them an actual Pantone code or a swatch or something that they could really measure it by very accurately. Mistake number 10, thinking that because you're working directly with the factory, the price you pay is going to be lower. I'm here to tell you in all honesty that that's not always the case. Oftentimes, a trading company can get the price lower because of the relationship they have with the factories. But usually, a factory will get you a better price. Now, let me give you an example. When you're working with the factory, it's going to take them longer to respond. They don't know you. They don't trust you. They don't know if you're going to bring them business. They don't know if you're worth their time. Now, a trading company, they're trained in this to work with people like you. That sounds really negative. You know what I mean. And they'll get you a deal quickly and boom, it's gone. It's one and done and they figure you may never come back again. But a factory is going to want to work with people, companies that are in this for the long haul. So if your first order is 500, what do they automatically think? This person is either new, or they're just testing the product, or they don't know what they're talking about. So the risk they're willing to take is much less. Therefore, when you begin to talk to them, understand it might take them a long time to get back to you. But over time, as you build the relationship and they start to see that you're serious and you start bringing them more orders, then they'll start to work with you and you start getting better and better deals. Have you ever seen someone on Facebook post this? Hey, for 3 years, this factory got me this unit for $4. And just today, they dropped it to $3.75. They've been screwing me over. I can't believe this. And I'm thinking, what? They just did something for you. They just gave you a good deal because they trust you. That's how it works. It doesn't mean they've been cheating you this whole time. They need to make money too. Of course, they're going to charge enough so they make money off the top. You wouldn't sell a product on Amazon or eBay, would you, if there was no profit? And the higher you can get it, the more money you make and the happier you are. Well, they're going to do the exact same with you, my friend. Before we keep going, we handpicked 50 huge potential products for you, which includes clusters of keywords, all the top competitors, and the potential profit you can make off of these products. Follow me on Instagram right now. It's Instagram at Seth Kniep. Spell my name right. It's SETHKNIEP. I'm going to drop it there for you, but you have to follow me on Instagram if you want to get this list of 50 huge potential products that we have done a lot of the heavy lifting research for you already. Mistake number 11, thinking it will only take a month to get your product sourced and into Amazon's warehouse or wherever else you're going to sell it. This is a big mistake. Let's start with the long one. If you are building a brand and your product is super custom, it's not just your typical run-of-the-mill product. You're actually building something with a new gadget or a new thickness or new gear that's going to cause it to meet the need better than anyone else. Expect it to take you easily up to 6 months from product research beginning all the way to landing in Amazon's warehouse or on your doorstep. And in this case, I would highly recommend using a sourcing agent. You can use Hickory Flats. You can use Just One Dime sourcing. There are plenty of sourcing agents out there that can help you. The reason this is to your advantage is they are going to provide you a custom service and walk you through the whole process. Oftentimes, the way the sourcing agent will work is they will be paid $1 per product. You will pay a certain amount per product. And therefore, if they send you junk, they don't get paid. They have to go through the process of purchasing it. It's going to hurt them because they're invested. So if you don't go all the way through the process of purchasing, they just lost time. Therefore, it really de-risks you a lot. That's a lot safer way of doing it. So in that case, I recommend a sourcing agent. But if you're seeing a trend and it's taken off fast and you're thinking, man, I should get onto this now, use a trading company. Buy your first, 250 or 300, or if it's right before Christmas, 3,000, and get into Amazon and sell it and beat everybody else by your listing and the beautiful pictures. There's a time and place for everything. You can do that process with a trading company, sometimes in a matter of weeks, usually 2 to 3 months. So it can be anywhere from a month to 6 months, depending on what you're doing, but it's very rare to get it done in a month, especially if you're differentiating your product. And if you're trying to make money in the long haul, you've got to differentiate. We teach this in our program. We show you more than 20 different ways how to differentiate your product so that you are crushing the competition and so that no one else can find your product on Alibaba. It's not even there. It doesn't exist. We show you how to do that. Mistake number 12, assuming that Alibaba is just a list of a bunch of suppliers. Now, yeah, it's kind of like a yellow phone book, but it's kind of like a glorified, sophisticated, extensive phone book because Alibaba actually facilitates payments for you in a way that is safe. Trade assurance has been nothing but amazing for me and some of the top sellers I know. Because what it does is it de-risks you. When you pay the supplier, that money doesn't actually go into their account. It goes into a holding company like escrow, and you pay only usually 30% up front. They build the product, then you get someone to go inspect it. Just One Dime has these sources offered as well. They inspect the product for you. If they like it, if they love it, they say, yep, it's good, and you approve it. Then that money is released. Then they ship it and they get the rest of their money. You have to sign a statement. You literally have to click, I agree, before those funds are released. So Alibaba has massive advantages. They are not a scam, and they're not just a bunch of suppliers. They do give you some really cool options. The other advantage of Alibaba is it allows you to find products fast. You can quickly get an idea. What is the cost? What is the minimum order quantity? What are suppliers doing out there? And remember, suppliers can mean factories or trading companies or sourcing agents. So it's not as simple and clean cut as we would like it, but that's just reality. Mistake number 12. This is a super costly mistake, so be careful. Do not assume that just because you signed a contract with a supplier in Alibaba or any supplier, that they won't share your idea. And a month later, you find your new product being advertised by that supplier and eventually 20 more on Alibaba's website. And you're going, oh my goodness, what is going on? Don't ever assume that they're going to honor that contract. Sometimes they will if you have a great friendship with them. Friendship is the #1 most powerful motivational tool when you're working with Chinese suppliers, specifically Chinese. They value friendship much more highly than most parts of the world. But even with a contract and friendship, that's not a guarantee. The way you de-risk yourself is you find a molding company that all they care about is molds. They're not on Alibaba, they don't have a website, and they build it for you if it's a new product. And there's no way that other people could possibly know what you're doing until it's on Amazon. And then everyone's scratching their hair going, where's this guy getting this product from? I can't find anyone on Alibaba who knows who produces this product. Because you know, all the suppliers, they're on Alibaba. If they're not on Alibaba, they're not a supplier, right? The other way is you can actually have one supplier build all the pieces, have those shipped to you or to a company where you live, like in the US or the UK or South America, and then that company or you assemble the pieces. So the supplier doesn't actually know what the final product is. Therefore, they can't compete with it. They just see the pieces. Now, maybe they'll get, you know, some really smart people in a room, and for the next 16 hours, they do a contest and try to put the pieces together and figure out what it is. But this actually works. And it's another way you can de-risk yourself so that supplier does not sell your product to other competitors. And let me tell you, we've made huge gobs of money on Amazon using this strategy because everyone, by the time they catch on, it's too late. He who is first to market is better, makes more money than he who is the best in his product. Mistake number 14, assuming that if a supplier will not drop the price until you order a certain amount, there's something wrong with his brain. No, there's nothing wrong. Let me explain to you how this works. Minimum order quantity means the minimum number of products they are willing to produce for you for a certain price. You can't go up and say, I just want 10. Unless it's like super sophisticated massage chair, they're not going to do it for you. So you say, look, I want, let's try this again. There's no kitty today. I don't know what happened. You want hats. And you say, well, I like the gray hats, and that's what the supplier's been producing 90% of. It's been gray hats. But you want polka dotted red hats because you're weird. No, I'm just kidding. And so the supplier says, okay, sure, no problem. We'll produce those for you. Now, what do they have to do? They already have this massive roll of thread, and it's 12 feet wide by 1,600 feet long. And they buy these in mass bulk from another factory to make the hats. And they're all in gray. But to get the polka dotted purple red hats, they're gonna have to go buy another roll, and it's gonna be smaller, which means it's gonna cost more comparatively. Same reason if you go to Walmart and you buy a bag of coffee beans, if you break it down per bean, the cost is a lot more than if you go to Sam's Club and buy a massive bucket of beans or a truckload, a dump truck of beans. The cost per bean is much less because you're buying in greater quantity. So they go out, they have to buy a much smaller quantity of threading to do your little order of 1,000 units. And that might not seem little to you, but when you compare that to large companies, selling 20,000 a day or 20,000 a week, it's really tiny. Plus, they have to have the time to reset up the machine, pull out the other one, put this one in, and the additional labor. And if they sense you're a new seller or you don't know what you're talking about, or no offense taken, if you're a penny pincher, like, man, new sellers are like this a lot. They're so worried about the money. They're just like penny pinching and they talk back and forth and change their mind and go back and forth. That takes time. That wastes the time of the supplier. Plus the additional labor to get everything set up. Plus, if it's a really unique custom thing, they might have to do training in addition. When you add all this together, they're going to charge you more. Now, that's very different than if you came along and said, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I would like 10,000 purple polka dotted red hats, and I'm going to email you. I will send you 30% up front. We inspect the product. If we like it, you get the remaining 70%. Done. One email, done. I guarantee you that price is going to be a lot better. That is why minimum order quantity matters so much. And if you look on Alibaba, it'll show up as M MOQ, minimum order quantity, the lowest amount of products, the lowest number of products that supplier is willing to sell to you at a certain price. They won't go lower because it's not worth their time unless they charge a ton. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, click on the bell so you get a ding every time a new video comes out. We're giving away $120 every single day for the next 30 days to people who subscribe and share this video on any social media platform. Could be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I don't care where. Just say that you subscribed and where you shared it, and we're gonna PayPal that money to one person every single day. Well, a different person each time, $120 for the next month. Our goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Mistake number 15, assuming that if you don't make money on your first order of products as you start your online business, that you did something wrong or that you failed miserably. It is very common thinking to expect to make this massive profit off that first order, and oftentimes you won't make anything. Let me explain to you why. When you're selling on Amazon, you're investing in your listing more than the product. The listing is what's ranking, the actual listing on Amazon. The product's not ranking, the product is sitting in the warehouse. It's the listing. So in order to get that listing ranking, once you have amazing photos, you know it's convertible. If 100 people look at it, of course 20 of them are more gonna buy. If you were to search your main keyword and show it to all your friends, but they have no idea which one's yours, and you say, okay, on this first page of search results, because yours shows up there, of course, because you use the hacks that Just One Dime teaches in our coaching program, and they look at it and you go, which one would you pick? Of all your friends, 90% of them, of course, they pick your product. It's obviously the best value, okay? Assuming you've done all that, you have to give away your product sometimes, like literally at 90, 99%. Give it away, let people buy it for practically free just to get ranking. And by selling a whole bunch, you start ranking and your product shows up. You know, the 10th page, the 7th, the 6th, the 4th, the first page of search results. Now that you're there and you know it's convertible and you have reviews, now you start selling and making money. That cost a lot of money. You just gave away 200 of your product that you had to pay for, and you got 10 cents back per product. You had to do all this work, and where's the money? You invested in a listing. Remember, you were not just selling stuff on Amazon. You were building a freaking passive income machine to make you money for years to come. That's why it is so important that you invest in your product and understand you won't always make money off the first batch, and that's okay. If you're doing things right, if you found a niche, if you differentiated well, if you do what we teach in the Just One Dime course, you de-risk yourself like crazy. Just last week, someone reached $30,000 per week. $30,000 per week on her first product. Unbelievable. It's because she's doing it right and she's following the steps that we teach so you can crush it on Amazon. Mistake number 16, believing that a supplier or factory is cheating you if the initial weight and dimensions they gave you in the quotation for your product is different than the final weight and dimensions that they gave you on the product. This does not mean they're cheating you. Oftentimes they don't know. There's a lot of variables. For example, you're selling coffee mugs. You decide you want it to go into a little cardboard box. Turns out the cardboard box is too small. It has to be bigger, it has to be thicker to protect the coffee mug from breaking. That thickness changes the dimension. It also, having the box, not just the mug, changes the weight. It doesn't mean they're cheating you. They're giving you an estimate at the beginning. That's what the idea is for a quotation. It's an estimate. Understand it's a factory. They don't just know off the top of the head, oh, this is how much it would weigh. They actually have to weigh it. They have to put on a scale. They have to get out a tape measure and measure it. And until your product is produced, they're not going to know 100% those exact numbers. Now keep in mind that sometimes suppliers will underquote you on shipping to get you in. They don't care how much you pay for shipping. They just want to know they don't have to pay for it. So now you like the shipping prices so much that you go with them, they produce the product, and then it turns out the shipping, oh my goodness, it's a little higher than we expected. And now you have to have them ship it, unless you want to go to the pains of finding a freight forwarder that will go and pick it up for you and ship it from their place to somewhere else. So just be smart. When you check the shipping, check other suppliers. Mistake number 17, and the last one, assuming that if your product weighs like a box of feathers, the shipping cost will be the same. There's something called volumetric weight you need to understand. Let me give you an example. I have here a box of stainless steel serving spoons that we provide with one of our products. This box is heavy. It's only half full right now, and I'm telling you, this thing, it feels like a bunch of bricks. It's heavy. I could work out using this thing. The funny thing is, if I ship this on an airplane, it's not that expensive because weight is not a problem for an airplane. Airplanes can take a lot of weight. What they can't take is a lot of space. So as you know, suppliers or shipping companies charge you based on the kilogram, and very common would be $6 per kilogram. Well, if this is even half of a kilogram, it's not going to be that expensive. However, what if you have a box this big? I should do my videos like this. What if you have a box this big? It's so big I can hardly see you. This thing's huge, but look, you can see it's quite light. Either that or I'm really strong. Now let me show you what's inside. Balloon wraps. Big fat little balloon wraps. See, this is air. This thing is so light, it's not even funny. I could kick it across the football field, no problem. The funny thing is that thing weighs way less than the box of stainless steel spoons. Yet the cost is much greater to ship the balloon wrap than the spoons because of the size it uses up. That's called volumetric weight. Now, some people believe that there is one overall calculation to calculate volumetric weight. That is not true. Every airline is different and every ship is different. So if I go to an airline, I say, look, I have airline A and airline B. I need you guys to quote me on 10 boxes of bubble wrap, and I want you guys to do the exact same. They're going to give me two different quotations based on how they calculate volumetric weight and how valuable space is to them. Because if it's large, it has to go in the upper part of the plane. And sometimes they have to wait for the right plane to come along that can actually hold it. So it's a hassle, which means they have to warehouse it and they have to pay for that real estate. Therefore, they're going to charge more. So even though your product, let's just say it weighs 10 kilograms, the actual volumetric weight is 12 kilograms. So you're going to pay $6 per 12 kilograms, not $6 per 10 kilograms because of the size. Now, when it comes to ocean shipments, it's a completely different ball game. Whereas on an airplane, volume is a bigger, stronger variable. Weight is a stronger variable on a ship. On each ship, you can have up to 23 tons per container. And we're talking about US tons of weight. So if you're shipping out, heavy lead bars, and you fill up a container, it's probably going to be a lot heavier than 23 tons. Therefore, you can't fill it up. You have to pay more to have it put into another container or be charged an overweight fee. So that's where it can get really expensive when shipping by ship. But as a general rule of thumb, you're always going to be cheaper per unit on a ship when you have a large quantity. You can get the cost of shipping way down because these things are massive and they can carry so much content when going overseas. However, the downside is you're going to wait longer. So you're looking at easily 5, 6, sometimes 7 weeks before it actually arrives. Then it has to go from the port to a warehouse, from warehouse to Amazon's warehouse or your house, or split it apart. Just One Dime Services actually can provide shipping services for you if you want it split or you want it consolidated, because we have a ton of containers coming in to save you money on the shipping cost. But keep in mind, by ocean, weight is a bigger variable. So if you're going to ship by Air Express, that's going to be the most expensive. Air freight is the second most expensive, and by sea is the least expensive. But weight will be a big variable when shipping by sea. Follow me at Seth Kneep on Instagram. I'm going to drop 50 hand-picked, huge potential products, including keyword clusters, the top competitors, potential profit margins for you on there to help jumpstart your Amazon business. But you have to follow me on Instagram, and I'll drop it there for you. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day.